Oh, hi. So, I guess in the grand scheme of things, I am a smidge early with this. As I said, there would probably be only one a week, and mostly on Wednesdays. But I was kind of thinking about it. I'm not saying this is going to be an official thing, but Mondays and Fridays, or every other Friday at least, could actually work. Like this Friday and then not next Friday, because my situation is I work early on every other weekends. The weekends I don't have my daughter. I work early, so I get up at like 3 in the morning. So I probably won't be talking on Friday nights when I have that, but like tomorrow I get my daughter at 9 o'clock in the morning, so I don't have to get up until like 8:30. So I got more time to do these. Like normally I'd be right now it's right. Hold on, let me back up a smidge. Right now it is 8:22. 8:22. So I'd be going to bed pretty soon. Normally, like if I had to work, get up at 3 in the morning. I usually go to bed for around 9. But since I have my daughter tomorrow, I'm probably not going to bed until midnight or even 1. So, yeah, I got plenty of time for this. So, anyways, I wanted to bang out a few videos, and, well, one thing that I found is kind of disappointing is Pokemon Masters isn't going to work anymore. I mean, it technically could. It's just my account. It's not. Basically, my account got lost. So I tried logging in and it said this doesn't exist in what is it? Apple. I was trying to sign in with Apple. This doesn't exist. And then the other option is to sign in with Nintendo, but I know I don't have a Nintendo account. So my options are either start over or just give up. And I feel like, well, I wasn't super far in the game, all things considered, but like I don't really want to start over because I've been making videos. So I'd either have to, I don't know, like everything would be different too, even if I did play. Because some of those characters I had were from events and stuff, so I'm not going to have them now. So, I don't know. It's probably just done, or I'll just start over. Maybe down the line, just so it's not so fresh. Maybe I'll start over down the line. Give it a few months to fill in videos, break away from my original the Pokemon Masters, and then start over episode 1. Starting over. But anyways, no. What I wanted to talk about was my car. So, currently, I'm driving a silver 2015 Nissan Altima S. I mean, it's nothing special. It's a car everyone in the world's got, basically. I mean, it's got cloth interior. It's, what, a 4-cylinder? It's pretty weak. Nothing special. However, my last car was something fresh that I actually really liked. And, I'll get into all this story and talk about why I don't have that car anymore. But, anyway, so in comparison to that car, my Nissan's even more of a major downgrade. So, but to try to stay positive, there are a few cool things about the car. So that's why I wanted to talk about it, just kind of point out the things that are slightly cool about it, I guess. So anyways, the last car I had was a 2007 Cadillac DTS. It was Raven Black, and I took extremely good care of that vehicle. I mean, it was, I don't know if you want to call it a dream car, because I almost feel like my dream car would be like a Challenger, a 2015 Challenger with, Hemi V10, supercharged with super loud exhaust. Started up. But that's probably a dream car. But to a certain degree, I guess you could say my Cadillac was too. So basically what happened was I got my license 2 months before I turned 18. And at that time, I didn't know what I wanted. I mean, when I was going car shopping, I didn't really have anything in mind. It was like just a car, like whatever, something that can get me around good enough. So there was this gas station that also sold cars on the side, kind of. Their lot wasn't much. They had like 4 cars at a time. But I ended up going there with my dad, and the first car I ever had was a 4-door green Pontiac Sunfire. But when we went there to the lot or gas station, we did a test drive, and he said it seemed good, so we got it. And I mean, it was decent. Yeah, it needed work, but not out the gate. I mean, over the tenure of me having the car. But I mean, that's like any vehicle, you know. It's not like it was a piece of junk. It just needed regular stuff. So, but anyways, that was my first car, and so around 2019, roughly 2 years later. I mean, what am I talking about? 2009, roughly 2 years later. Um, that's when I realized that. Wait, no, not 2009. What am I saying? I know I was screwing up. When I was 19, roughly 2 years later. There we go. I was thinking, my numbers are wrong. What am I saying over here? Nines. I know there's something with the 9. Yeah, 19, not 2009. That's why I said 2019. Confusing myself. Anyway, so when I was 19, or roughly about 2 years later, DTS's, that's when I was like, whoa, that car's sick. That's what I want. I don't know, it's just, I feel like it's kind of like an image thing with that car, too. That's why. It's like it's fresh, but at the same time, able to be a daily driver. Like, a lot of cars that are fresh are usually like a summer car. Like, you drive it in winter, it's weird. Like, say, I don't know, maybe Mustangs. Like, that's, or a Corvette, or any car like that. Some people might be pumped about those and say that they're fresh, but it's weird if you're driving it in winter. Like, Cadillac has that year-round viability while at the same time being super fresh. And also, it's like a mob car. So, that's the other image thing. It's just cool. So, anyway, I didn't, I wasn't able to get the car until about 6 years later-ish. I was 25 when I finally got it. And, it was awesome. On the day I bought it, the dealership, for some reason, takes a picture of you. Apparently, they make it a calendar. I didn't get a calendar, though, so guess I got ripped off. But, I mean, I could just feel that I probably had this huge, stupid, goofy smile, because it was just so surreal. Like, I'm pretty sure the day I got my car, I went to the dealership on my lunch break and picked it up, and then went back to work with my new car. And it was just awesome. And I used to take super good care of that car, too. I would get it washed, like, I don't know, at least twice a week. I would clean the rims 4 times a week, and I'd vacuum it 2 to 3 times a week at least. Plus, at least maybe once a week, I was also out there, like, detailing the interior. I used to take super good care of my car. The only thing about my car that you could say I didn't take super good care of it for was because I didn't have like a garage or anything to put it in, but that's not my fault. It's just where I've lived. When I lived at my parents', they don't have a garage, and when I live on my own, my apartment doesn't have a garage. So I kind of don't have any options there. That's like the only neglect, if you will. Otherwise, I took ridiculously good care of my car. I always put premium fuel in, even if it probably didn't need it all the time, but I did it just because. And I'd buy additives to add, like, the fuel injection crap and blah, blah, blah. And I did all that to just take care of it. Never beat on it. Always, just casual. You think I'm going too slow? F you, pass me. Not beating on my car. I used to park super far away from doors. I mean, that's kind of just my thing, but like with my Cadillac, I definitely was like being strategic about where I parked. Okay, there's the carriage receptacle. There's cars over here. Like, I was making sure I was far away from everything. And so, yeah, and there was only a couple things that I did want to take care of, though, if my car was still running. Is one, the rims were starting to get a little beat. Not super bad, but a tiny bit, just because of the road salts. So, I used to work far from home, and in winter, it was just, my car was caked, and it was hard to maintain its cleanliness then. I'd get home, and maybe I'd wash it, but then the next day I go to work, and it's caked again. So, I feel like the road salts ate my rims, and the other thing was my floor mat in the driver's side. So from how I put my foot, it was starting to like make a little hole where my heel rested all the time. So I wanted to get a new floor mat, but like a authentic, go to the Cadillac dealership and get a real one that's for my DTS. Same as the rims. I wanted the same exact rims I had, just new. But unfortunately, that never happened. Anyway, So here's basically the story on what happened with my Cadillac. So it's dead. And I don't have it anymore because it's been sitting in the driveway, and I finally found someone that was actually interested in taking it and working on it and fixing it up. And it makes me sad because I've heard status updates on how it's coming along, and like the guy he's a man, he's probably pushing 50 if not older, and then I hear stories like him and his son are kind of fighting over it, who's gonna get it, and it just makes me sad because then I feel like it's my car. But it's not. He bought it from me, so now it's theirs to fight over. But I guess on the positive side, hey, as long as someone's gonna get enjoyment out of it and take care of it like I did, then whatever. The car's life can continue on, and as long as it's loved like I loved it, then hey, whatever. I mean, I wish it was still with me, taking care of it and everything, but what are you gonna do? I don't know how to fix it. I don't have money, so. And anyways, having someone else get it is a better option than what I was gonna do, which was just scrap it. And that would have been just total waste. I mean, it would have just been junk. That would have been even sadder. So anyway, though, here's what happened. What led up to it dying. So, like I said, I used to work super far. My trips to work were about an hour and a half one way on a good day. Actually, on a good day, it'd be about 80 minutes. But sometimes, if there was heavy traffic, I mean, it would take me literally 2 hours just to get to work. So, anyhow, since I was driving far and I had a Cadillac with a big engine and not very super fuel efficient, I needed gas all the time. So, one day I'm on the highway, and my car beeps at me, and I'm, ding, 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 and I'm thinking it's for the gas, like it's complaining, oh, I need gas. So I'm like even talking to it. I'm like, yeah, we're super close to the exit. So I'm like, yeah, we're getting off the exit, and then we'll be on the roads, and I can feed you either before we go to work or even after work, because the gas station used to be right down the street from where I worked, and not even right down the street. That sounds more over exaggerated. It was like 150 feet down the street. Like it was next door basically. So I was like, yeah, whatever, I'll take care of it. So I look down though, just because it's beeping. So I want to see how bad the gas looks, and no, it's not the gas. It's the heat gauge is blasted all the way up. I mean, it's like past the red line. I'm like, what the F is going on? So the way that this highway worked, the passing lane and the travel lane weren't really passing lane and travel lane. It ends up becoming a point where the passing lane is basically an exit if you want to go, I think it's east, and no, what is it? Is it north and south? Maybe it's north and south. Anyway, it's one way like that, and then the right side is the other way. So I always needed the exit that was on the left side, north or west or whatever the heck it was. So, anyways, the thing's beeping, so I just veer right off the road. So basically, I'm in essentially the passing lane on the side of the road. I slam it into park, turn it off, pop the hood, and I just check things out. So first off, I actually didn't have any of that stereotypical smoke when cars are overheating. I guess that's when they're really bad. I don't know. I didn't have that. I popped the hood and it was fine. But so this is my initial diagnosis. I had a very slow coolant leak going on. It was basically like every oil change I needed to replace my coolant because it would have all dripped out during that same time period. So yeah, it was something to keep in mind that I needed to take care of, but it wasn't like super urgent. That's just a slow drip, basically. And mind you, I was using full synth oil, so my oil changes were like every 5, 6, 7,000 miles. Like I wasn't going every 3, so just to paint a picture of how rapidly or not rapidly the coolant was dripping out. So anyway, I'm thinking, okay, I probably just need to put coolant in. I don't think I did it in a while. So I have coolant in my trunk, so I go and grab it. And then I go to the reservoir, take the cap off, and it's full. And I'm like, wait, what? So then I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's not really full. Maybe it's just the car's hot, so it's kind of creating an illusion right now. The stuff's just hot. You gotta let it cool down. So I give it like, how long was I sitting there for? 10, 15 minutes probably. just letting things cool down. I even like turn on the car and I see that, the gauge has gone down significantly. So I'm like, all right, let's go check it now. I go check it again. Still totally full. I'm like, oh, okay, so this is real. This is totally full. So I'm like, what the heck's the problem? So I'm trying to look around because prior to that, I had a weird little issue as well. I had a transmission issue. My car wouldn't shift out of first gear. And so, going up hills was basically impossible because I had no power. Which actually, that doesn't make sense. You usually want lower gears going up hills. I don't know. It was something with the transmission. Anyways, all it ended up being, though, was it was just a little, like, it was a clip, I think, that broke. Just a super tiny clip that connected two things together. That's what the whole problem was. So I know somebody that had some clips on hand, and they, grabbed one of their clips, popped it on, bam, car was back to normal. It was just the matter. When I say tiny clip, it's like, I can't even explain. It's like a staple in relation to paper. You know what I mean? Just something super tiny, and that's what was making the difference. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm looking around at my engine, like, is there something loose somewhere? Do I see anything just visibly offhand that maybe I can tighten up? Maybe there's another clip thing that broke, so the tube for the coolant is, off and not getting to the engine. I don't see anything. So now I get into a situation where I'm like, what the heck am I going to do? I'm relatively pretty close to work at this point. Out of my whole 80, 90-minute ride, I have about 10 minutes left and I'm at work. At the same time, though, it's one of my daughter days. I think it was probably a Thursday that day. So I'm like, what the heck am I gonna do? I was like, I can't go to work. It's not a good choice. First off, I'm gonna have to keep trying to drive there with my car overheating every 5 minutes or so. I was like, and then what do I do after work? I'm not gonna get home until super late. Even if I wait for a tow and all that, you're looking at 7, 8 o'clock. I won't be home until. So what I did instead was, this highway has one of those, the areas on the highway that it's kind of open for emergency vehicles when there's no practical area to turn around and get back on the highway. Well, this highway that I use had like a huge version of it. It was really wide. You could probably fit like, I don't even know, a bunch of vehicles could just go through I used to always see tow trucks in there, which I thought was kind of weird, but. So anyway, granted, I'm not in an emergency vehicle, but I was in an emergency, so I was like, F it, I'm taking this to turn around. So let me back up a tiny bit. Yeah, so I ended up driving my car back to town, little by little. Basically, I'd turn it on, drive a little, until it started to overheat, and then I'd pull over, turn it off, pop the hood, and let it cool down. Then I'd sit there 10, 15 minutes, check it out, drive again, turn it off. Yeah, this process took probably 2.5 hours to cover half an hour worth of highway to get back into town. So, anyway, I turn around in that area, like I said, so I can start going back the other way, towards back home. So, when I was pretty close to home, I was parked on the side of the road again, the hood up, letting it cool down. And that's when I called my insurance, and I was like, hey, do I have any towing insurance or anything? And they told me yes, and I said, do you have a number for a tow that I can get? And then they told me, or they called it themselves maybe. Yeah, they three-wayed it, that's what happened. They called, so I was on the phone with them, and then they called the towing agency, and then, yeah, so we were on a three-way call. So, anyway, because I was on the highway, I didn't want to make things more complicated than needed, because my insurance was only free towing for 100 feet. 100 feet, wow. 100 miles. So I was like, man, I don't want this guy to be doing all this extra travel and ends up being over 100 because of all the extra crap he's got to do. So I ended up getting back into town. Well, when I get back into the town, well, not my town, but the town like on the main road on my way back home, it's like a huge shopping area. So there's a Target in there. So I just went down there and sat in the Target parking lot with my hood up near the border of the, I don't know, it's hard. Like I said, it's a plaza, so the Target's way in the back. So what I tried to do was park like near, as far up as I could in the plaza while still being in Target's parking lot, though. So I thought the guy would be there much sooner. I sat there for, half hour or so, 40 minutes just waiting for him. But Yeah, so when he finally came, um, yeah, I don't know what I was gonna say. So he finally came, and when he was hitching my car up on his flatbed, he obviously can see the undercarriage, and he's like, "Oh, what year is this?" And I tell him it's 2007. He's like, "Wow, for 2007, this thing looks good underneath." And I didn't know what to say, but I'm thinking, well, yeah, I do take extremely good care of my car. I mean, the engine issues it's having aren't my fault. I always estimated I probably had engine issues just because I worked far. I was doing 100 miles a day, round trip. So that's 500 miles a week just for work. Plus my daughter during those days, um, I had to travel, not as far as my job, but it wasn't just down the street. Like now it's a lot closer. But during those days it was, I don't know, maybe 20 miles just to go get her or so. 15 miles, so 30 miles round trip. And all that. I was doing a lot of miles overall between my daughter and my job, so that's what I feel like did it in. Like, if I had a local job, I know I'd still have the car. I wouldn't even have 100,000 miles yet after 6 years. But anyways, so he gets it towed, and he brings it to the dealership, which the dealership's actually right down the street from me. So I get there, I tell him what the problem is, yada, yada, yada. Then I walk home. I mean, it took me half hour to walk home. It's super close. Well, obviously, it just needed, like, new headers and all that to handle the overheating issue. So in the meantime, they let me borrow, they gave me a loaner of I think it was a 2015 maybe, Buick LaCrosse. But, man, I hated that car. First off, it had tons of problems with it. Tons. It was like they literally just got it off an auction. They're like, this will be our loaner car. Which kind of made me mad because I was like, first off, I'm here at an authorized Cadillac dealer, okay? And I'm giving you my Cadillac that I clearly take very good care of. Just look at it. It looks fantastic, other than the engine issues it's having. And here they are giving me this literally piece of junk Buick LaCrosse. I mean, yeah, visually it looked good, but it had tons of problems. Like, the more I drove it, the more I'd discover things, and it was just like, this is seriously what I have right now? Like, I thought every day the thing would end up breaking down on me. And it made me mad, too. Like, why would you give me a Buick? I drive a Cadillac, dang it. I came to the authorized Cadillac dealer. Why am I getting Buick for? I didn't understand that one either. Every time my mom's had a vehicle that she got what she has, she's got a Volvo now. When she goes to the Volvo dealership, they give her a Volvo loaner if needed. Back when I was a kid, when she had a BMW, when she had a Volkswagen, she'd bring it to the Volkswagen dealer and get a Volkswagen loaner. So I'm like, why am I bringing my Cadillac to the Cadillac dealer but getting a beat up crappy Buick? Seriously? Like, that made me mad. I mean, I'm just a regular guy. I mean, I do have like a professional job, but still, I'm just like, it's not like I'm some big, wearing a suit every day type of guy, and that's why I got my Cadillac and stuff. But if I wasn't, like, I don't know, it'd be annoying. It'd be like, hello, I'm not driving a Buick. I drive a Cadillac. Give me a Cadillac loaner. What's the matter with you? Which I did think about saying that, but I was like, whatever. A loaner's a loaner. I only have it for temporary. But anyways, I hated that car. Not only did it have problems, it was very uncomfortable. The headrest is weird. It's designed to be at some weird angle that, like, jams into your head and makes you have to put your head forward, and no matter what kind of seat configuration you did, you always lost. Yeah, I might be able to find a seat configuration that worked, so I didn't feel like my head was being jammed forward, but then it was, like, uncomfortable for me to drive. I was either too far away from the steering wheel, or I felt like I was laying, or that car sucked. Like, when my Cadillac was ready to go again and I picked it up, it was immediately, you could just feel the difference. I got in and it was just like, oh, this is so comfortable. The seats are so plush and just, so good. The Buick was just, horrible. Jeez, even my Sunfire wasn't that uncomfortable. That car sucked. The Buick, ugh. But anyway, so my Cadillac ended up being in the shop for quite some time. It was in there, I don't know when all this stuff happened with my car. It happened mid-ish June, like June 15th to June 20 type of window, I think. And I didn't get my car back until August 23rd, which was a Thursday, oddly enough. Everything seems to happen on Thursdays. It broke down on a Thursday, I get it back on a Thursday. But yeah, basically all summer I didn't have my car. I had a stupid Buick loaner. But the only thing good about that Buick is it had insane air conditioning. That air conditioning was really good. When I picked it up, so like I said, it was in June, so they had the air conditioning running. I don't really use air conditioning. I use, open the windows. The only time I use the air conditioning is when it's really hot, and if I'm dressed up for work and I'm just like, I am not interested in sweating, then yeah, I'll use air conditioning. But otherwise, windows open. So anyhow, though, when I was there to pick up the loaner, they had the air conditioner blasting, and I get in, and it's just like kind of cold feeling, and it's like, what the heck? It's summer, and it's wow, this is some crazy AC. That was the only thing good about the car. Crazy AC. Anyways, though, so I got it back all summer. What was I saying? I said I didn't have the car all summer. Oh yeah, so the work. So basically, what ended up happening is all the work that they put into it ended up coming to around $9,000 total for me to fix, which I barely had. And then yeah, so fast forward a year. Now we're looking at, again, a Thursday. That's what I'm saying, everything with Thursdays. And then ironically on this, it's a date that I normally like, but last year wasn't so good. So on Thursday, October 17th, 2019, that's basically when my car died. So for starters, October 17th is just for 10/17. That's, Gucci, Brick Squad, all that. I mean, I've been a fan of Gucci since he sucked back in 2006, 2005. So, yeah. So that's why I like October 17th, because 10/17. So anyway, what happened that day was, so the Wednesday prior, not meaning a week before, just meaning the day before, October 16th, I mean, everything was perfectly fine. I, did what I had to do to go to work. I think I went to the store. I went to the bank, maybe. I remember I did some things. I even went to my mom's. And I got home at like 9 at night, and everything was fine. Thursday morning, I go out. First thing that was weird right off the bat is when I went to start up the car, it did like a delayed start. Like normally you put the key and turn it, it's solid, smooth, just like you expect. This time it was weird. I put the key in, and it did like, I can't even make the noise, but it was delayed. Like, I wasn't holding on to the key to turn the ignition anymore because I didn't think I had to, based on how you normally start a car. But yeah, it was still like it was trying to turn over, and then it caught. And I was like, that's weird, what the heck? But then as soon as it caught, it was just running like garbage. It was bucking. It was, I don't know what the heck happened. It was bucking and just vibrating, and I'm like, what the heck? So I turn the car off, turn it back on, still running like crap, still doing a weird delayed start. Turn it off, turn it back on, still a delayed start, running like crap. I'm like, what is happening right now? So I end up putting it in gear and backing up. First off, putting it in gear was hard. It's like slammed into gear. It wasn't smooth at all. I put it in reverse, and it's just like, poof. And I'm like, what the heck is happening? And it's bucking like crazy going down the driveway. And then I get out of the driveway, and I'm in the road, and I put it in drive, and it's still bucking like crap. And I'm like, what the heck? And there's like no power either. I mean, I'm basically flooring it, literally going 25. I'm like, what is happening with my car right now? So I just go around the block, not even. I go on the main street, go down the next street over, go back on the main street, come back on my street, and come up and park again. Because it's just running like garbage. There's no power, it's bucking. I don't understand what's going on. So now my problem is I'm thinking, what am I going to do? I can't miss work. I'm like, I can't afford to miss work. What the heck am I going to do? I can't afford to fix the car. I can't afford to not go to work. And then if I don't go to work, when am I going to be able to go? I mean, my car's dead. I don't have money to get another car. So all these things are going through my head, and I'm like, what the heck? So I fire it up one more time, and for some reason, it runs perfectly. It's back to normal. It fires right up. Doesn't do that weird delayed start. It runs smoothly and everything. I'm like, oh, whew. So that night, not the Thursday, the Wednesday night, we had a little storm. It was like very heavy winds and torrential rain. So I'm thinking, well, maybe something happened. See, I park under a tree, and so there's leaves underneath and all this other crap. So I'm thinking maybe something kicked up. it's probably stupid logic, but to me, that's what I'm thinking at the moment. Maybe something kicked up, it kind of got caught up in the engine a little bit, and now that I've been turning it on and off and driving a little, it finally got it out. Either, the car warming up, enough heat singed it off or whatever, or just the movement of the car made it jiggle its way out. So I'm like, okay, maybe now it's better. Well, later after work, same problem. I go to leave work and it's running like crap again, and I'm like, this isn't real. What is happening? So again, I drive around the block, doesn't work. Do it again, doesn't work. Do it again, doesn't work. It doesn't fix itself this time. And I'm like, oh my word, what do I do now? So, let me back up a tiny bit. So as I said, I wouldn't be able to pay for it. Well, one, I just paid $9,000 the year before. That was that was all my money. I don't have $9,000 or anything like that again a year later. But what's even worse is I ended up losing my job. So, like I said, I got my car back on Thursday, August 23rd, 2018. And then, since that was a Thursday, I took that day off from work because, I figured, what the heck, I'm getting my car. I don't want to have any pressure to get to work and all this. I'm just going to take the day, enjoy the day, get my car back, wash it, and just, enjoy the day. Well, and then I took that Friday off because then I thought, I'm not going to take Thursday off and then go to work Friday and then it's the weekend. Plus, I needed to renew my license, so I did do that. I took Friday off just to be off, and I renewed my license. So, come Monday, the 27th, when I get to work, there's an email from my supervisor, and it's for a meeting invite, and it just says one-on-one meeting, and it's scheduled to be at 1 in the afternoon. So I'm thinking, a little bit more backstory. So, at my job, we were having meetings about changing the way that engineering drawings were done. Mostly for the assembly drawings. I don't really know what we're supposed to change, but something possibly was going to. There was discussions, and we had a few meetings prior, but they were kind of just like idea meetings, not really like actual referendums to make the change. So that Friday I took off, though, that was supposed to be the real meeting. If there was going to be a change, that meeting was going to discuss what changes we were going to make to how we make drawings. Now, at the company I was at the time, I was basically the go-to for drawings and such. I monopolized that position. It was basically just me. So if there was a change to how assembly drawings were made, I need to know that because I'm the gatekeeper. So when I came into work and saw that there was a meeting invite for me, a one-on-one meeting at 1 o'clock, I thought, it's probably because something came about that meeting. So he's just going to update me and yada, yada, yada. I mean, I thought 1 o'clock in the afternoon was weird, though. I'm like, why wouldn't he want to tell me right away? Obviously this is my job. Why do you want to wait halfway through the day? But then I thought, well, who knows? Maybe he's got other meetings, or maybe it's, I don't know. So... Oh, and that's the other thing, too. His invite was timed at 12:38. Well, the meeting was at noon on that Friday. So, again, that's what I'm thinking. The meeting's probably either over or, it's at least halfway through, so there's progress being made, and that's why he's sending me out the invite. I'm going to have to update him. Because people always would be fooling around on their laptops in meetings. We'd be having a meeting, but everyone's digging around in their laptop, and not really fooling around. It's not like they're playing games, but still, it's like, shouldn't you be engaged with this? What are you engaged with your emails and all this for? That can wait. Anyhow, so instead, when I go to the meeting, first off, I didn't know where the heck the room was. Then I ended up realizing it was the room behind our security desk. So we had security there, and they were actually pretty good. You'd always see them wandering around the hallways and such, so basically their presence were known. They were a good security team. So anyways, though, the room's behind security. So now I'm thinking that's weird for a couple of reasons. First off, there's two conference rooms behind security, and they're both large rooms, though. You could easily accommodate, 16 people. So I'm like, why in the heck are we having a one-on-one meeting in such a big room? Like, we had two kinds of conference rooms. We had regular conference rooms, and then we had these little rooms called team rooms. The team rooms were, you'd have maybe 3 chairs and a round table in there. It was designed to be more compact, more like one-on-one style meetings. Instead of talking to somebody in the hallway, you'd go in a team room. And then there's a door. You can shut the door and have that privacy. So, anyway. So I'm thinking, why the heck are we going in such a huge room? And then I also thought it was just kind of weird that we're going behind security. Like, I don't know. I just felt like security's on the first floor, and it's like security. I'm like, why are we... There was no other more practical rooms. Like, we were both on the 3rd floor. Why are we going all the way down to the 1st floor behind security? It just seemed weird. So anyway, when I get in the room, it's him, my supervisor, former supervisor, and this woman. And right away, I knew that the woman was HR. And the only reason I knew this was because none of the HR people I know at my company, I don't know them. Because, first off, HR had like its own wing, more or less. And I never saw those people. I had no reason to go into that wing. I had no reason to go see HR. And the way that their offices were set up as well was like super private. One time I was in the HR room just exploring because there was a secretary and you could see when the secretary was there or not, and she wasn't there. So I snuck in the room just to kind of explore and look around. And like, you can't even see any of the people in there's offices. It's almost, there's like a wall with a small corridor, and you gotta go down the corridor, and I don't know, I didn't go down, so I don't even know how the maze works, but it's weird. So anyway, that's why I don't know any of the HR people. So I see her, and I just knew that she had to be HR. Who else would she be? I knew everyone else's position, and why would there be some, So that was really the only option. So then I'm like, why the F is HR in here? That's weird. But here's what else I was thinking. I was actually due for a fair pay increase. I mean, at that time I was making about $30 an hour, and I was due to be boosted to anywhere between 32 and 35 an hour. So I'm thinking, okay, so my options right now are either A, I'm getting that raise, which is awesome, and maybe they just have HR here just because, I don't know, the technicals and paperwork and yada, yada, yada. Because it wasn't a real raise, it was actually a pay tier grade promotion. So that's how my job worked. There was different letters and then numbers. So my job title put me in the T category. That was my code, I guess. And it went from 4 to 1. So they started me at T3 because I had experience with SolidWorks and experience with engineering in general before I started at this company. So that helped me not be T4. So I started at T3, which gave me a little bit of a boost in pay as well right off the bat. So I was due for a promotion to T2. So that's what I thought. I thought either that or B, some kind of bull crap they're going to try to pull. And I didn't know what it would be. I'm thinking, like, what? So anyways, then I sit down and I'm basically, like, rapid fire attacked. I mean, they just throw papers at me and they're like, oh, we're letting you go, blah, 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 and I can't even get a word in, but it didn't even matter because I couldn't think. So I'm just like, what is happening? I mean, for real, the reasons that they supplied why I was being let go were just bogus. They were extremely bogus and extremely weak. Like, I'm not even trying to oversell myself or anything. They were. I was a good employee. I have multiple ways to prove this. And basically they were trying to just say that I wasn't good for the company at all. And it was like, what? What are you talking about? I mean, I brought about a lot of positive change. I standardized the way that the drawings were made, other than the possible changes that happened at that Friday meeting. But otherwise, drawings were just all over the place. I made standardization with that. I made standardization. Oh, and we were a global company. So, my standardizations wasn't just here in the United States. It went out globally. Like, it was adopted everywhere. I also worked on standardizing a technology in general. I mean, it was about 85-90% me, 10% others. So it was mostly me that standardized that. I mean, this isn't the video to get into all that, but I did a lot. So for them to tell me that I wasn't good for the company, I was like, what? If anything, maybe I'm too good for your company. Like, seriously? But, like, at the same time, I just couldn't think. Like, I didn't even know what to say. I'm just sitting there just confused and like, is this happening? What? So, fast forward to October 17th, 2019. That's why I'm saying that I didn't have money. Because I lost my job, and what ended up happening in the interim was I was working at Walmart doing overnights, and then I was working at Dunkin' Donuts in the mornings after I got out from Walmart. And I was making dick for money. I mean, like I said, I went from like making $30 an hour for 40 hours a week down to I was pulling what, $400 bi-weekly with both jobs, or roughly you could say 200 per, 200 bi-weekly per job, or $100 a week basically per job. Like, that is not a livable wage for an adult with a child and who has an apartment and all this. And part of the reason why my pay was so terrible too was because of stupid child support, which that'll be a whole video on itself right there, because there's a lot to say about that. But anyway, yeah. So they were taking half my pay basically. I mean, they were taking the regular amount, but when I was making much less money, it was basically half. So it was leaving me with nothing. So I was violently struggling like that for about 8 months. So I finally ended up getting a job on May 15th. Actually, it was before that, but I started May 15th. And yeah, so this job is paying me $21.50. Not as good as almost $30, but definitely better than what I was getting at Dunkin's and Walmart combined. I mean, those are both minimum wage. I think Dunkin's was $11 an hour and Walmart was $12. So when you combine them, it's $23 an hour combined. Versus this job paying me $21.50. Close enough, And at least it's only one job. Plus, I was able to get overtime at that job that I had. I was pulling in at least 2 hours of overtime a week, so that was helpful too. So anyway, yeah, so again, back to not having money. I mean, I fell so viciously behind on all my bills. I was $400 a month, not a month. I was just $400 behind in general on my gas bill. I was $237 behind on my electric bill. I was $2,100 behind on rent. I was, what else? You name it, I'm behind. So once I got this job that I was getting $21.50 an hour at, it was a way for me to start catching up. And like, I didn't have money to save. I was just pouring the money into my bills. Okay, pay this, get this paid off, get this caught up, get this squared away. So now, speed back up to that Thursday, I'm like, I don't have money. I can't lose this job that I basically just got. I mean, I started in May, June, July, August, September, October. That's 5 months. I'm like, ugh, I can't be losing this job. I need to work. I don't have sick time or vacation time or anything. I'm still a new guy, I was through a temp agency. I had no benefits even. So I'm like, what the heck am I gonna do? So, luckily enough, one of my friends has one vehicle but has access to multiple other vehicles. So they let me borrow their vehicle, and they used another one that they had access to. And yeah, so I had their car for maybe about a month, and that's when we went to the dealership, and I ended up with this Nissan. One thing that made me mad about this Nissan, though, about the sale, is, first off, it was about $10,000 for that car. Now, the guy had cars in the lot that were less. He had some cars that were like half as much, some cars that were $7,000, and I was pointing them out, like, give me one of these, these are cheaper. And he kept going to the $10,000, the $11,000, the $15,000 cars. It made me mad because I felt like he was ignoring my requests because he was trying to focus on making a buck. And he knew that I was in a desperate situation and that I probably wouldn't say no because I really needed a car. So he knew he was going to have a sale and he was trying to milk it for all he could get. And that made me mad. I mean, I explained my situation to him thoroughly and everything. Like, he should have worked with me, not just been... Granted, he's not my friend or anything, so I get it, but still, it just made me irritated. Like, come on, don't try to run me because my situation's pretty bad and I'm in a desperate situation. Don't try to take advantage of that. In a way, though, my friend that I was borrowing the car from also wanted to get a different car, because that car that she has is kind of crappy, and I don't know, it always has problems and stuff, so she's been wanting to get rid of it, and she was going to go to the same guy I did, but he was trying to dick her around as well, too, and charge, like, he had some kind of weird plan that he was he was trying to casually add on, like, $3,000 to her loan and such, and she figured this out and was calling him out, like, why are you charging me more? And he came up with some stupid crap excuse for what it was going to go to, and she was just like, F that, I'm not getting a car from him then, he wants to pull this. So in a way it was like, haha, F you, because she's not as desperate as I was, so you lost out on the sale by being a dick. And if I wasn't in as much of a desperate situation, you definitely would have lost me too. So anyways, that's what makes me irritated, is that he pulled that. That was annoying. So yeah, that's why now I went from a super fresh 2007 Cadillac DTS that I took extremely good care of, and now I just have a stupid Nissan Altima S that I don't care about at all. Yeah, I take care of it just because my car. I don't want to have problems. I don't beat on it, and I don't beat on it, and I do clean the interior just because I don't want to be in a dirty environment. But there's no love in it when I'm cleaning it, like my Cadillac. Like, I clean that just because I wanted to. Like, it was, I don't know, it was just taking care of it, keeping you clean. So anyway, again, obviously, a Nissan is a huge downgrade in comparison to a Cadillac, but, like I said, to try to be positive, there are a few cool things about the Nissan. For starters, it's push to start, or however the heck, keyless, there you go. Keyless starting. Now, I am not a fan of keyless starting at all. Don't get me wrong. I don't like it because I feel like that's just one more problem that you can have. Think about it. Think about automatic windows versus the roll windows. Yeah, automatic windows are more fancy and up to date, and you can open all your windows just at your driver's door, But what happens if something breaks in the electronics? Now you can't even open your windows. Yeah, that's wonderful. At least the old-fashioned rollway, it didn't matter. You could still open your windows. There was nothing that would break. So that's like this. I feel like, oh, great, push to start. So if the car doesn't want to start, I have no say in it. If the CPU is like, nah, we're not doing this, then what am I going to do? Nothing. So now you're sitting there with the car that won't start because it doesn't want to respond to the button. And that has happened to me in the winter a few times. I'm sitting there hitting the button and nothing happens. And I'm like, this is cool. Oh, good thing I wasn't trying to go anywhere. Sarcastic. Obviously, I am trying to go somewhere. So that's why I prefer a key, because at least you have control. You're sticking the key in, you're turning it, and you're forcing the engine to do some sort of response. So, but on the other hand, though, the thing that is cool about that is, it is kind of cool. Like, ooh, I got a button now. Cool. But also, the key is so much more compact and stuff. Like, the key I had with my Cadillac, it was a key for the ignition and such, and then you had the remote part of it, and it was like 2 pieces, and it was kind of clunky. The thing I have now is just this tiny little, it's almost like a compact laser pointer. It's so small, and I put it in my pocket, and sometimes I forget it's there. Always with keys, they come out of my pocket right away. I get to work, come out of my pocket. I get home, out of my pocket. Wherever I'm at, they right out of my pocket. Even if I'm visiting my mom, I take them out of my pocket. This one's so small that sometimes I forget about it. The other day, actually today, I'm recording this on a Friday. Today, earlier at work, I got up and maybe I was going to run to the other building to talk to somebody about something. And I happened to just put my hand in my pocket while I was walking. I'm like, what the heck? Why is my key in here? Like, it's just so small and svelte and stuff that I actually am able to forget about. It's not annoying. I don't feel it. It's not like this big clunky thing. It's just sits nicely in there. You don't even notice it. So that's cool. The second thing that's cool about the car is, I don't know how to phrase this. Maybe the entertainment options? I don't know. It's got a lot. It's got CD capabilities. Obviously, regular radio tuner. It has satellite. It has auxiliary. It has USB, Bluetooth. What else? I feel like there's something else, but that might be it. But still, like that's all those are awesome, especially Bluetooth and I guess that's it. The Bluetooth. Like my Cadillac had options. It had CD, radio, satellite, auxiliary, but that's it. It didn't have Bluetooth and didn't have. I mean, USB doesn't really matter, but still, it didn't have that either. So all these other options though are pretty cool. Like, it's options. It's awesome. Like, so in my Cadillac, the CD player ended up going. It doesn't work anymore. I don't know why. But what I did is I started using an iPod, so I just hook up the auxiliary and there you go. Well, now it's kind of cool because with this car, I don't need my iPod anymore. I don't need the cable, none of that. Sometimes, yeah, I do use my iPod because there's music on there that I can't find on YouTube so easily or I forget about. And it's just easier when I go to my iPod because it's just there. But a lot of times, I'll just connect my phone through Bluetooth. Bam, done. I have a mix and then it just plays and, I don't have to lug anything around and I always have my phone with me. So that's kind of cool. I like that. I mean, the speakers suck. I mean, my Cadillac, I had Bose in there. That's just the stock that Cadillac puts. Bose speakers. Where this car, I don't know what the heck it has, but they're crap. One of them's blown. The other one's like getting blown. It's rattly a little. I don't even know why. It was fine when I got the car. I haven't done anything and it's starting to sound like crap. So that's annoying. My Cadillac sounded fantastic and this thing sounds like crap. But at least the options are cool. And I think the only other thing that's pretty cool about this car is fuel economy. I mean, I put $30 in every other week. That's it. Usually I go on Saturday. So tomorrow is my gas day. I'll probably put about 25, maybe only 25 because I still have a quarter tank. So I'll probably do like 25 tomorrow. And that'll last me 2 weeks. And that's awesome. Now, granted, I can't really accurately compare to my Cadillac only because, one, I was driving ridiculously far to go to work. Where now I work, like 10, 15 minutes away from home as opposed to an hour and a half. So, I mean, there's that, and the other thing is, I guess that's it. But still, even if I had a local job, I'm sure it would still be making a difference. I probably would, before, when I was working far, I had to get gas twice a week. If I was working local, I'd probably still have to do it fairly enough, though, but maybe more like once a week versus this car where I go once every 2 weeks. I'm only getting gas twice a month now. It's pretty cool. I used to get gas, 8 times a month? Sometimes 9. Now, twice a month. So that's pretty cool, too. Although, on the other hand, one thing I gotta say that I really hate about this Nissan is the stupid CVT transmission. Constant variable transmission. If you've never driven one of those, don't bother. I mean, it's not like I was seeking it out either. I didn't know until I had it. I don't like it. It is a weird transmission. Yeah, it's designed to make your car even more fuel efficient because it's supposed to be able to process how you're pushing the gas and how much fuel that really is needed and yada yada yada. But CVT transmission is just it's annoying. Going downhill, for some reason, the car always revs. It's some kind of way to try to monitor the speed. Like, just go faster. I don't care. Don't rev. If I want to brake, I'll brake. I'm pretty sure using the brakes is better than the engine blowing itself anyways because it wants to violently rev. I'm sure brake pads are significantly cheaper than needing to, rebuild your transmission. It's annoying, and I don't think there's an option to turn it off either. And I hate it. It's like anytime I go down the hill, my RPMs are shooting up to 3,000 or 3,500. They just... I know it doesn't sound much, but on the tachometer, that's pretty high. It's like halfway. And I'm like, what the heck? I'm going down a hill. Just idle. What are you doing? Every other car I've ever had just idles. Not this one. It just starts violently revving. I'm basically idling how I'm driving. I'm not pushing the gas that much to move, and I'm practically at 1,200 RPMs basically to move. Oh, I'm hitting a hill though. It's like, what in the heck? Calm down. So I hate that. Another thing I hate is, like I said, it makes the car almost feel like it has no power. I mean, I think it's a 4-cylinder to begin with, so it's not even a powerhouse as is. But then you put the CVT in there, it just makes it so much worse. Like, I hit the gas, and sometimes, like, literally, I hit the gas and the car's not even moving. And I'm like, what the heck's going on? And then finally it goes. I mean, it's not like that long of a delay, but it's enough of a delay that your brain's realizing, like, why am I not moving yet? It's probably a matter of a second total, but you're so used to hitting the gas and the car goes simultaneously. Now it's like you hit the gas and you're not moving, so your brain is picking that up, like, wait, what? Something's wrong here. And it's probably because the car is trying to translate how I'm tapping the gas to figure out how much gas it's supposed to put into the engine. And I hate it. I don't like CVT engines. So that's one thing I really hate about this car, the stupid CVT bull crap. So like I said, if you've never driven a car with CVT, don't bother starting. Like if you're looking at a car like, CVT sounds cool. No, it's not. I hate CVT. And the worst part is too, I hear that CVT transmissions, A, are significantly much more prone to breaking down than a standard transmission, and B, are virtually unrepairable. Like, you know how normally a car's transmission could have problems and you can work on the transmission and fix it? I hear if a CVT transmission goes, you basically you can't fix it. You need to get a whole new transmission. So that's just ridiculous too. So the transmission sucks, and it's very uneconomical, financially speaking. Like, that's cool. So anyway, that was a super long, drawn-out story just to kind of talk about the 3 things about the Nissan that are kind of cool. Yeah, this is episode number 2. I have tons more episodes, just random topics like this, where I'm just going to talk about stuff. But yeah, there's tons more. Next one will be Wednesday. I don't think I'm doing another one today, and I know the weekend I'm not going to. I have my daughter. And then Monday, Tuesday, nope. So it'll be Wednesday. I don't know what I'll talk about, but I got plenty of time to think about it. So until that one, I said see ya.